360 Sports Show coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. Thanks for finding us this morning, a gorgeous Sunday morning. We are live every single Sunday morning at 11 a.m. We also put the show out as a podcast immediately following the program. So if you can't catch us live, subscribe through Sounder FM or wherever you get your podcasts to never miss a show. You can reach us anytime through the chat function of any of these live streams. You can also email us at the360sportshow@gmail.com, and we will answer all of your questions right here on the air. Or if you email us throughout the week, we'll get to them as well during our mailbag segment. I'm Andrew Pizzelli. He's Christian Lauber. And Christian, we'll start first, like we always do, with how many days are left in 2020?
Yeah, do some housekeeping. 25 days left. We're getting there. Hopefully it doesn't turn into how many days are left in 2021, but we'll see when we get there.
Well, I know there'll be 365 days in 2021. It's just, what will the quality of those days be? That is what we're all waiting and wondering on. So there is a ton to get to. So, we're going to start with some college stuff. So if you have questions on college football or college basketball, drop those in the comment section right now. Obviously, basketball is just getting started, but we'll start with what's wrapping up, which is college football. I guess we could kind of say, what games did we focus on? I always look for upsets. When I'm flicking around yesterday, I'm looking like, yep, Clemson running away with it. Yep, Ohio State bludgeoning. And so unless you're the fan of one of those teams, you're not watching. So I didn't watch. So I focused instead on the BYU Coastal Carolina game, which was awesome, absolutely fantastic. Love the upsets. I was interested in seeing the BYU quarterbacks. First time I've gotten to watch him live. People are touting him as potentially like somebody the Patriots could go after, and I'm saying like hard pass.
Yeah.
And then I also watched the Cal-Oregon game. Again, another upset. Always root for the upset. Oregon, obviously neither team getting to play as many games as they wanted this year. Cal getting their first win, and that kind of takes Oregon out of any sort of discussion. Same thing, Coastal Carolina. That takes YU out of any college football playoff discussion. They were going to have to go undefeated and do it in an impressive fashion. And losing to Coastal Carolina, who are they're no chumps, but that's not going to look good for BYU. And one last thing for Cal-Oregon, their linebacker, I want to make sure I get his name right. Where is it? I think it's Kuyoni Dang. Oh my gosh. God, I don't know. Did you get to see any of this game?
No,
the Cal-Oregon game?
No.
So Oregon gets the ball back. Cal has the lead like the whole game. They end up they don't have any faith in their kicker. They're up 4. They have like a 30-yard field goal. They don't bring the field goal unit out. They try to go for it and they get stuffed. They don't get it. And then so Oregon is like ding 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 marching right down the field. They get like an in route complete to this kid. He breaks one tackle. This linebacker. I want to make sure I get his name right. I think it's Kuyoni Dang. 6'6", 249.
Yeah.
Comes flying. Ooh. Perfect form tackle, head on ball, wrapped up, full plant, and balls out. Cal recovers. Game over. I don't know. I think this kid is a. What year is he? I have to look him up. I don't know where he's at, if he's like coming out for the draft. Let's see. He's a redshirt senior, so yeah, he's coming. I don't know. I have not yet. It's way too early to look at mock drafts. We'll have to get Brad Kelly on the program sometime soon after football season. Kuyoni Dang. Monster. So those are my takeaways from yesterday. Not as impressed with BYU, especially their quarterback. Cal-Oregon. Really fun. Love the upsets. Lots of turnovers in that game too, but Dang at the end is the one who forced it. That kid's a beast. Last note from BYU, Coastal Carolina. They had 2 wide receivers. Their names were Highly and Likely. I am not joking. I am not joking. That is a broadcaster's dream. Highly and Likely.
That'd be good for you. You have a field day with that one. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Reporting too, like headlines.
Oh, yeah.
The likely score. Or highly something, whatever. There's so much you could do with that. So, what games did you focus on yesterday from the football side, Christian?
I didn't have much time to sit down, but there was one that I was watching, Navy and Tulsa, I believe it was, just because it was on, and I had a chance to sit down for a bit and watch some of that, and it was close at first. I mean, Tulsa's ranked, and obviously Navy is not, but close in the first half, and then Tulsa kind of came away with it, but it was low scoring. It was like 6-3 at half, I think, 9-3, 6-3 at half. And yeah, I was just that's the only game I really had a chance to watch, and because it was close, I was intrigued. I kind of look for the same thing as you. Like if there's a game on, and I see a ranked team that's close or losing, I'll probably tune into that one.
Yeah, I mean, so like the ratings coming into yesterday, or are these updated? I don't think these are. Oh, these are updated. Um, so this is through Google. I don't know if this is someone on their side doing it because don't they usually when do the rankings come out? Don't they come out on like a Monday?
I think Monday, yeah.
Yeah, so this must be like just based off of what people were saying. So currently, the tentative college football top four: Alabama #1, Notre Dame #2, Clemson 3, Ohio State 4. I The Ohio State really bugs me. They're 5-0, yes. I mean, and you look at their victories. Okay, they smoked Nebraska. They beat Penn State. They beat Rutgers. They eke out a win over Indiana 2 weekends ago, and now they come and they pummel Michigan State. Um, and wasn't Michigan State like not wanting to come to that game? Weren't they trying to like stall that game, or was Ohio State trying to stall? There was something weird with that game.
Yeah.
Where like one side was trying to stall to not play, and then Ohio State pummels them. Now, big game against Michigan coming up next weekend for Ohio State. Um, I don't know. I just feel like you could give a look to one of these other teams down here. I mean, Florida 8-1, Texas 7-1. I mean, who's the one for Florida? Because I thought Florida's looked good. Wait, what's their loss? Who'd they lose to? They lost to A&M, so that's why that's flip flopped like that. Okay,
Yeah.
so I just feel one of those teams should be in the top four. Ohio State. I guess I'm sorry. I know this year sucks, but like there should have been like a minimum requirement of games, right?
Yeah. I mean, you could do what baseball did and just pack in like 6 inning games. Like the Cardinals are down like 76 games to like 2 of everybody else, and it's just like. But hey, this is what we're left with, I guess, right?
We're gonna play. They're gonna play. So like in hockey, when you play tournaments, and these are playoffs, in some D3 conferences, if you play you have a 2-game series. So if a team wins both games, easy. If it splits, you go to like a 10-minute mini game, immediately. It's not overtime. It's a mini game. And that's what decides who wins the series. That's what they're going to start doing in football. They should have done that in college football. We're going to play 12-minute mini games.
Yeah, there you go. Bring out some targets. Let the quarterback hit the targets. Then maybe kick like 65-yard field goals and see how many he can hit.
No, it's not mini games like mini games in Mario Party.
Let's turn it into like an arcade.
Okay, yeah, true, yeah. All the like crazy modes in Madden now. That's just how we're going to decide the college football playoff.
Yeah, why not? If there was any year to do it, it would be this year.
True. And it would get people to watch. All of a sudden, I'd be watching those Alabama-Clemson games.
How many times I've heard people in hockey say there should be a shootout in the playoffs, which I disagree with, but like,
yeah,
it's just like people want this fun, like weird stuff. So you know what? In a COVID year, let's just do it. Let's just have a full-on circus.
I'm trying to see. So who's Alabama got left? Alabama's got Arkansas, and then Florida. That Alabama-Florida game, that should be a good game. I hope that's a good game. And you know what? I guess I'll get my wish here. If Florida beats Alabama, they should immediately leapfrog Ohio State by that point.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I guess it could all kind of work out in the end. Because let's see, who's Florida got left? Is that they got LSU? Can't lose to them. And then they get Alabama. So I think realistically, Florida will be in that top four with those other three. Because I don't see Notre Dame, Alabama, Clemson. That's your top three. And it's kind of been like this every year now. That fourth spot is the toss-up spot. So I definitely think Florida will get up there. Florida beats Alabama. They could definitely get in.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's been a crazy year, right? I mean, like you just look at some of these games. It's like Western Carolina 0-3, and they're playing North Carolina, who's 7-3, like 10 games to 3. So obviously, one team's way far and away better, just in general, but also you get on the field and you play more, you're probably going to be better, in better shape than some of these other teams. So it's been a weird year.
yeah. Well, and at the top, these big teams, the Alabamas, Clemson's, Ohio States, have kind of done what they do. But
Yeah.
back towards the middle of the pack, you know, uh, it's been really competitive, and that's what's been interesting, and that's why I was fascinated to watch all the other smaller games yesterday because they're compelling. Because you might say, oh, okay, you know, usually 13th ranked team doesn't lose to unranked team. This year,
Right.
oh yeah, they
Yeah.
they do, and that's happening not just in football but on the college basketball side as well, which we'll get to. Um, I think it's partly because of how locked in we got last year, Christian, with locally for us with PC and URI both making runs. I've just kind of picked up here. I've really
Yeah.
only kind of focused on them since this kind of restart. It's interesting what college basketball is doing. They're having these tournaments where it's not like a normally scheduled season. There's basically teams, like Missouri. I think Missouri, Oregon, like last week. I think on Friday was like Oregon was looking for a game, and all of a sudden Missouri was like, "Hey, we're at this tournament over in like Pennsylvania. You want to come?" Sure. And they like flew out the next day,
Yeah.
and like the scheduling in college
Wild.
basketball right now is absolutely wild. Um, but I've been focused on PC. They are 3-2, but their most recent game once again. Uh, we focused on it last week.
Man
Nate
in the middle.
Washington,
Yeah.
beast. And also David Duke, great name. That's a great sports name, the Duke. Those two guys were phenomenal. I mean, Washington dropped 20 points. Duke had 28. So the Friars beat Fairleigh Dickinson Knights, who are 0-5, who actually looked, somewhat competitive for a period of this game. So I mean, I guess they could feel good about that. They can come out and compete.
Well, at least half the audience right now is saying, "Who?"
Yeah, you
Oh,
know, uh, but hey, if it like you said, in this year you take wins,
a win's a
and
win. Yeah.
and the Friars 4-2. Now they actually will, I think, start to get kind of a normal-ish schedule here. Like these are some of your like regularly scheduled games because they'll play TCU, Xavier, Connecticut, Seton Hall, and then Butler in the next 2 weeks. So these are your
Yeah.
conference games. So and then after that, nothing scheduled. So it's kind of like everybody's like, let's just kind of get to Christmas and then totally reassess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just this is what we're left with. Obviously, I think they've done a pretty good job. Obviously, we'll get to it, but the Gonzaga Baylor game, which should have been a really good game, has been called off since, but due to COVID stuff. But some of these games are still compelling, and right now, like it's really important for these teams to get wins, no matter who they're facing. It doesn't really matter because the upset factor is so real right now because there's no crowds. You're on kind of like a neutral footing, and it's the same we said in the NBA. Obviously, there's a much higher level, but NCAA basketball is like you get into a Duke or North Carolina, these crowds make a huge difference. Same with that Rupp for Kentucky. So, um, you have to get wins no matter what. And right now, the upset factor just based on no crowd alone, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, and no crowd playing in a neutral site
Yeah.
too. Like that PC's game, that was their first game at home. So the home cooking, they like it. And I think it was Washington who said that like 2 weeks ago when they played their first game at a random gym with no fans. He was like, it felt like
Yeah.
the Super Bowl to me. I've
Right.
been
Yeah.
dying to play since March. Um, and you're right, the upsets. I watched the Missouri Oregon game. So Oregon came in ranked and lost.
Yeah.
Um, uh, what was funny? Missouri has like three guys, all named Smith. So they got Drew Smith, Mark Smith, and Mitchell Smith, and I don't think they're related.
The Smiths. Yeah.
And the Smiths balled out, all of them. One guy though, and I kind of like the more I watch now, I start picking out. There's like one guy. I write their name down. Like I said, the guy Coney Dang on the Oregon, the Cal football team. Well, Oregon basketball. You know how we ogled over Semi Ojeleye when he came out of the draft. We were like, oh, here's this guy. He's a leaper. He's got all this strength. He's a defender. If he can develop his jump. It's like what we said with Matt Murphy. If the Celtics can develop his jump shot like they did with Avery Bradley, it's like we're kind of like there's more not that haven't worked out than have. This guy could be the next coming. People were calling him the steal of the draft. Obviously, he hasn't turned into that. Well, Oregon's got this guy, Eugene Amaruri. I can't. Every time I butcher his name, I'm sorry. Dropped a double-double, 31 and 11. Basically, Semi Ojeleye, but with handles and a jump shot. Like picture Semi, but he's able to handle the ball and he can shoot the three.
Built like a tank.
Dude is a monster. I mean, this guy threw down on people too. It was and he was like trying to lead them back in that game against Missouri. So that's the thing. I mean, there's just so much. It's going to be weird. I've talked to college coaches about this. The scouting thing. If you're a college coach trying to recruit, high school kids without games, it's difficult. Same deal for some of these pro teams. Now, I'm sure there's guys who maybe you've had eyes on for a couple of years. If guys aren't these one and done players, but the one and done guys. I wonder if they'll even do one and done.
Yeah,
because maybe they'll say, "Hey, I don't get a full season. Like, I might only get drafted to like late first round. I'd rather stay in college another year and get a full season and be a lottery pick." So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with so many of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even like you just said. It's not even that they're not playing as much this year, but like scouting high school kids. Like how do you even do that? Like how do you even begin? Like think of how many potential busts there could be, just based on no games to see. You really don't know what these kids get. So it's going to be interesting. And same with the college, like you just mentioned. Do these guys say, well, I could get in and sneak into the second round, or do I maybe stay in school and become a top 15 pick? Like what's the what are the advantages to being a top 15 pick as opposed to, going out one year and maybe sneaking into the late first, early second round or something like that? What are the benefits of that? So it's going to be interesting for these guys to see, what they decide at the end of the day.
Yeah. And, we said there was going to be busts this year, and these are guys who had been scouted for a whole year. And, granted, we didn't get like March Madness, but they basically played a full season, had a full season of tape. And we know there was going to be mistakes made in this year's NBA draft. We don't know necessarily who they are yet, but there will be mistakes because there were some guys drafted in spots where we said, that's a reach on that guy. And maybe it works out. Other guys we said that were like, and it always happens, is a guy who's locked into the top 5. He's always a top 5 guy, like Anthony Edwards. Maybe he becomes a bust. You don't know. Even though he was a consensus top pick. So, more mistakes will get made down the road. Just to kind of wrap up college basketball locally, like we said, we keep our eyes on URI and PC just because we were intertwined with them last year. Rhodey did beat San Francisco last week, and then they beat Seton Hall this week by 13, 76 to 63. Kind of an all around effort from URI. They got contributions from everywhere. Same thing. Seton Hall, they'll feel good, like, hey, we kind of hung around, but I'd say good for Rhodey. Again, all these teams, you hear all the coaches talk about it too. They really don't care. They're like, hey, you know what? We get to play games. We're gonna go out. We're gonna play hard. However many games we get to play, not in our control. So we're gonna play.
Yeah.
And good to win. So both PC and URI off to I'd say good, not great starts, but we'll keep our eyes on both of them. And we'll see. Yeah, a very long way to go. I know we're kind of working our way backwards here, but there was a story this week, Christian. I want to pull up the full story on this. This is a high. We don't often touch on high school things, but I just thought on this. This was where was this? This is a high school football player. Texas, go figure. I know high school football is huge down there. It's sometimes people care more about high school than even college or the pros.
Yeah.
But there's a player who got you couldn't see the play. There was an unnecessary roughing the passer penalty, and this kid got ejected. D lineman or linebacker got ejected, and the player comes running off the sideline and totally blindside tackles the ref.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely brutal.
Really, no reason at all.
Emmanuel Duran, ejected from sportsmanlike conduct, and then the school provided video of the incident, which you can go find. It's all over the place online. He comes out and he body slams the official, and then a whole bunch of the the other team's ready to come after the kid, so his team rushes out there to like grab him away and pull him back and get him off. He ended up having to be escorted away by the police, and then he's got charged with assault yesterday. And I just can't. It's like, what are you thinking, man? I mean, I have no idea what this kid's prospects are. I don't even know if it says if he's a senior. I mean, he must be a senior or a junior. Did he have any hopes of going to college? Is he where does he rank in high school prospects? All this sort of stuff. What was his trajectory? I can tell you now, his trajectory is not good.
Anymore. Yeah.
So dumb. It would have been. It doesn't any point in time. This would have been dumb, especially now when everybody's got a phone. Your game is being broadcast, and guess what? It's on the internet now. Your name and that video is on the internet. Yeah. And so any college you apply to, any team that's interested in you at all, if hopefully you're not in jail, is going to see this. That's a giant black mark. It baffles me, how in that moment you can think, yeah, you know what? I'm going to run out. I'm going to show this ref. I'm going to body slam him to the ground, and I'm going to totally get away with it.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know what you're thinking in that situation where there's a ref who's clearly smaller than you, right? Not even playing the game, literally just doing his job, and you go out there and body slam him. It just makes no sense. You could see him, and his teammates were trying to stop him, but he got a head start because he already knew what he wanted to do. And sure enough, yeah. I mean, this is a huge stain for this kid who, like, if he wanted any chance of going to a highly touted college, like you said, I don't know where he's projected, but if he wanted any chance of getting to one of these schools, and then you see this, you're probably taking another guy who's probably similar rather than this kid because of this. It's just a dumb mistake, and hopefully he comes back from it. But it's just, it's a huge black stain on his resume here, because now what?
Yeah.
That's
and the
everywhere.
team and the team. So I guess this is just the update. He's 18. Not good. So he's still in jail right now. Facing an assault charge. And worse off, he said, stain on him, stain on the program, because guess what? They just got removed from their playoffs. Their district removed them from the playoff field. Yeah. And they're going to also have some sort of investigation, because who knows? I mean, you can't judge. I feel bad for the rest of these kids, but I wonder, that sort of stuff. That's like a culture thing, right? Like I wonder if that kid thought, hey, this is the right thing to do. Are there, what's going on with the rest of the team? You got to figure a well-coached team, that doesn't happen. Now, guys can lose their heads. I guess they're not a well-coached team at the time last year. I was going to say with Myles Garrett smashing the guy in the helmet.
Ideal.
But then again, Freddie Kitchens not exactly not well-coached team. I guess I've proven my point. Poorly coached teams do these sorts of things. So we'll find out more, but I just wanted to touch on that and mention it, because guess what? You do this, you're going to get mentioned everywhere. And I hope it doesn't ruin this kid's life. But it's that kind of a dumb decision. It's really that bad.
I said, if you're getting measured up to other kids in the same position or same kind of line, right, and you're going right down through the lists, you see this red X, like, just search this video of this kid, doing something reckless, right?
Yeah. And not even like trying to go play football in college, trying to just get admitted to college.
Oh yeah.
Trying to get a job.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
This is following you. You have to do. You know how we talked about like what did Tom Brady have to do to like become the best quarterback of all time? Well, he had to win 6 Super Bowls to Montana's 4. You have to now you have to like go above and beyond to prove yourself after something like this to like make up for it. So hopefully it does. I don't want this to like spiral this kid's, future. But crazy story. And things like this happen at least once a year. There's one incident of it, but this one is probably one of the worst ones I've ever seen. Usually you see a guy like push a ref down or like hit him. We've seen it in the NHL, guys like skate by and like kind of check the ref, kind of cheekily. But this was, I'm going to run out, I'm going to pick up the ref, and I'm going to slam him to the ground in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Just egregious. I mean, it's just like way over the top, right? Like you see some dumb stuff happen, like a guy headbutts a ref where he's like barely touching him, right? You may remember back Carl Everett when he was on the Red Sox, like had that thing with the ref. You see this all the time, right? But nothing this egregious. And hopefully this kid's super young, so hopefully he has the opportunity to come back from like a video, or this kind of taints, his whole outlook on at least football, but hopefully not in real life. Because I mean, like, it's just like one of those things that is going to be everywhere now because the internet is the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to shift now to some NBA talk, just picking through the leftovers of the offseason. We do have a couple of comments. We do have one NBA note, an NFL note that we'll get to when we get to it, and a hello from one Peter Dugan. So hi, Pete.
Hey.
Thank you for tuning in. For those that don't know, we're live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Tell your friends, tell your family. And if you can't be there, then like, follow, subscribe, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch.
Listen later.
Or listen later, sounder.fm, wherever you get your podcasts. Look for the 360 Sports Show. Send us questions, the360sportshow at gmail.com. So, good to hear from Pete. We'll take this NBA question right now. This is from Colin. Have the Celtics been able to help anyone develop their jump shot since Avery Bradley, other than those who already could shoot and were projected to get better, obviously? Marcus Smart has improved. He has. I mean,
still shoots too much, though.
He shoots too much. That's totally different from being able to shoot. He has improved his shooting.
Well,
when he shoots an efficient number, he's efficient when he shoots what he should, which is to be a defender, take 5 to 6 shots a game. That's is his ideal role.
How about more notably though, Jaylen Brown? Like you look at Jaylen Brown.
That was my next guy too. Yeah.
First year, he was kind of a mess, fumbling the ball, couldn't really shoot. But now I feel like in the corner, you see him in the corner, he's money from there.
Yeah. His ability to catch and shoot, his ability he's doing everything. And I really think the contract, him getting the extension, kind of helped him focus more on just taking the game as it comes to him instead of trying to be like, well, I got to go out and drop 30 because I'm trying to get my contract. People sometimes you think, keep a guy in a contract year and let him ball out. That can kind of have a detriment because they try to do too much, especially these young guys. I mean, he was 22 trying to get that contract. So yeah, him 100% because he's improved everywhere. He's improved his defense. He's improved his rebounding, his shooting, his handle. We know how explosive he was, like being able to run without the ball. But now he can, instead of like having to not be able to dribble the ball, to being able to not have to look at his dribble, to then being able to drive and focus on the rim and everybody else, to now, I mean, like I said, I feel like he could be doing, if he continues to progress, he could be doing LeBron-esque things with the ball as far as getting to the rim and finishing with power. If he continues to improve the speed and ability of his handle.
I mean, look, every year in the league, he's gotten a little bit better. It doesn't matter what it is, right? Defense, dribbling. Like, dribbling, I think, is a clear one. Like, if he, in terms of ball handling, you look at some of his highlights from year 1, year 2, to now, like, year 3, year 4 here, there's just monumental changes in the way he handles the ball, which is huge because he's going to have the ball in his hands quite a bit, especially now with no Hayward. You're looking at maybe Kemba's out too. So between him and Tatum, these two guys are now really the future. All right. We
Yeah.
thought that before. He has to continue to get better. And just in terms of, going back to the question, like his 3-point shooting, as like a lot of people didn't see him as a shooter at all. And now he's kind of like money from both corners, on top of his ball handling and going to the basket and everything else. So, he needs to get better, and he's only 24. So
Yeah.
these guys peak around like 26, 27.
Yeah. Speaking of LeBron, him and AD get their contract extensions with the Lakers. So LeBron is going to be making like $40 million a year, signed through 2023. So he's scheduled to be an unrestricted free agent in 2023, which is go figure, probably when Bronny Jr. is coming out of the draft. So he'll probably sign wherever he goes. And then Anthony Davis got his contract extension as well. Max deal. He is signed through 2025. 5-year, $189 million max contract. So those guys, sign them up. That's the Lakers for the next couple of years. And they started to fill out their roster as well. Christian, what do you think what's the Lakers' future? Are they winning it again this year? Yeah. And are they going to be the team to beat for the next 3 years at least while LeBron is still on the team?
This year, they have a really good shot once again. I mean, they're loading up again. I mean, it's like they lost Rondo, but they got Schroeder. They, continue to get pieces around them. They got Marc Gasol randomly. So they're getting these guys. Not that he's any great shake anymore, but, I mean, look, he's still a good guy to have off the bench. Caldwell Pope is still good. So they're really loading up once again. And especially with Klay Thompson going down, I don't know who competes with the Lakers at the top of the conference. I mean, maybe the Warriors are up there again this year if Curry stays healthy, but they're probably in that 2, 3, 4 spot. But the Lakers are far and away the best team in the West, and maybe even the East too. I think if you're predicting right now who's going to go to the finals, it's got to be Lakers on the West. I mean, there's no question about it. And for the next, I mean, look, AD is kind of coming into his own now, and now that he's won, hopefully he doesn't kind of just relax. But as long as LeBron is there, I think they are going to be in the mix every year.
Yeah. I'd say right now they're the favorites. I was going to say the Warriors could have potentially given them a run for their money. That was before Klay Thompson got hurt.
Yeah.
I just think, unless James Wiseman comes in and becomes like a force for them and he's like their Anthony Davis, I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
For the Warriors. There's some intriguing teams in the West that I think will make noise that could get to a conference finals. Hey, the Suns could get to a conference finals. Like they could take a step.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't think they're better than the Lakers though. The only team that has a shot is I think the Nuggets because they've got the size to match up and they've got scoring, and they're a well-coached, mentally tough team. That's the only team that even has a sniff. And I don't know. I was hoping they would replace Paul Millsap with somebody not named Paul Millsap, but they replaced Paul Millsap with Paul Millsap. They just brought him right back, granted on a much cheaper number. But yeah, I got to say the Lakers are the favorites right now with who they've had. They've improved that roster. Now it'll be interesting to see. I thought the guy that didn't get enough. I think he got a fair amount of credit. But Rajon Rondo, he's the guy that kind of made the engine go. Sets the tone defensively with them, like keeping them focused and engaged. Because you would see the Lakers, like last year, kind of go through this, like, when Rondo wasn't playing, they kind of had these, like, they got up big and they kind of just, like, cruise. Other team would get back in the game. Lakers would find a way to win it. But Rondo's that guy that you see every play. He's huddling those guys up, talking. He's the general on the floor general. I think they're going to miss him early on. I think they'll probably figure out what they're going to be. But I think he's a guy that really helped LeBron not have to handle the ball all the time. And that takes down the wear and tear on him. He gets Anthony Davis in great spots. I mean, think about how many lobs you saw. I mean, the Lakers do not have anybody, maybe LeBron, but they don't have anybody else on that roster that can distribute the ball nearly as well as Rondo. LeBron being the exception, but you're trying to not have LeBron have to do everything
Right.
at this point anymore. So
I mean, you just look at their roster, though. I forgot about Montrezl Harrell. He signed there as well. So you have Harrell, Marc Gasol coming in, Schroeder came in. You still have Kuzma, Caldwell Pope, LeBron, Anthony Davis. Like they're
yeah,
for a team that has two really top end superstars, they have a lot of good pieces around them, and I just don't see, hopefully no injuries, obviously, but I feel like that's the only way that someone kind of overcomes the Lakers, at least in the West. Maybe the Bucks if they get their heads on right, but I don't see that happening. I don't know. I think the
yeah,
Lakers are easily the favorite.
yeah. Let's talk about the Bucks here. Do you see what Giannis said this week?
Yeah, I was wrong. This is a week after we talked about how maybe it's Miami, Dallas, Boston, Toronto, and he's not one of these guys that's just going to go jump ship and land in Golden State, LA even. And now I think he's going to the Lakers or Golden State, and I'm not going to watch the NBA ever again. I think
So
that's what's going to happen.
This is what Giannis said, and it's what we were all afraid of. One, for the league, but two, I personally want to see the guy succeed. I think he could be the best player in the NBA. But it seems like, let me read first, and I'll explain to you why I don't think it's going to happen. If LeBron and Kevin Durant and Anthony Davis came to Milwaukee, I would have been good with that. I'm not interested if I am the top, second, or third name, okay? Because I want to win.
Yeah.
What?
Well, there goes
dude. You're not like. Listen, you're not. Who would be the? You're not Marcus Smart. You're not like the best player on a bad team who's like, hey, if these two guys want to come and be on my team, to come here, I'm okay. It'd be like D Wade saying, I'm okay being the second guy to LeBron coming to Miami, right, and it's going to become LeBron's team, right? Dude, you are the alpha.
Yeah.
You are the best player that was on the best team, at least during the regular season last year. And you're fine with like other guys coming and being the fourth guy? Being you're saying, we said like, oh, is Anthony Davis going to be a passenger or is he going to go out and win? I say he went out and won.
100%.
Kevin Durant, are you going to be the reason the Warriors win or are you going to be a passenger? Now, I think he was the reason they won, but that's only because he jumped onto a 73-win team.
Right.
There was no chance you weren't going to win. So you get almost no credit. You jumped onto a bandwagon team and got your rings. Different from LeBron forming a team together.
Giannis wants to be Chris Bosh. He wants to be that guy.
Exactly, and it blows me out. And you know what this tells me? And we said this way back during the restart when he was airmailing free throws and they were losing games because in the fourth quarter, he either didn't want the ball or if you gave him the ball, he wasn't going to do anything with it because he can't dribble, he can't shoot, and teams just wall him off or send him to the line. Yeah. And he's never going to win a championship until he fixes those things. Improve the jump shot and improve the free throw shooting dramatically. It won't happen. Giannis will not win a championship unless he literally does this and bandwagons himself onto the Lakers. Are you going to go now? Will he take like no money to go do that? That's like the ultimate sellout. Like you could be the best player in the league and you go take like pennies to go play for like the Lakers. I just think I wanted to see the guy develop. I don't think it's going to happen now. I think if that's your mentality, he's never going to improve his jump shot. Yep. He's not going to improve anything. It seems like a guy who's resting on his laurels and is happy being not even a beta. He's epsilon down the line. Mind blowing. I mean, if I'm the Bucks, I've said this. Trade him. He clearly it was too late. I think it's already too late for them to save him there because it seems like the guy kind of already wants out. He's not willing to commit to you. In the things you tried to do to keep him here, you mortgaged all your future for Drew Holiday. Good player. I like him. Not a superstar. And you screwed up the Bogdanovich thing.
That's the big one. Yeah.
I'd say he's leaving. So you know what? Trade him for a bag of goods. Get as much as you can at the trade deadline. Do it. Trade him now.
Yeah.
because you're going to get. I mean, I guess you could get something if he does a sign and trade at the end of the year. But I would just trade him now. I would just say I'm not even going to bother because they're not winning a championship. They're not. The only way he was going to stay is if they win a championship. The Bucks are not winning a championship this year, so he's not staying.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, if I'm the Bucks too and I read this comment, I'm like, okay, well, it's over then, right? I mean, immediately, that's my thought. Like, if he's willing to be the Chris Bosh of a group of LeBron and Dwayne Wade, I think he's just gone because there's no way you're going to get, especially after you gave what, 2 first-rounders for Drew Holiday and you screwed up that Bogdanovich deal. There's absolutely no way now where you're going to get guys like Anthony Davis or LeBron to come to Milwaukee. It's just not going to happen.
They can't even get the secondary guys. They have no more capital left.
Yeah,
they can't do anything.
So do I like their moves, getting rid of Bledsoe on them? But is that enough to keep Giannis for the next 5 years? No shot.
No.
So now I read this and I said, you know what? In the next few years, I'm going to not watch the NBA. That's where we're at.
Kind of rolling right along. Speaking of sign-in trades, the Celtics finally, it's like a 2-week saga, do complete their sign-in trade with the Charlotte Hornets. So Gordon Hayward is officially a member of the Charlotte Hornets, and the Celtics do get something in return. The teams swapped conditional second-round picks in part of this, and the Celtics get the largest trade exception in NBA history, roughly $28 million. And for those that don't know, the trade exception is basically just like a coupon for cash, for cap space. So, and it's good for a year, a calendar year. So they could use this today, tomorrow. They could use it in January. They could use it next offseason. They could use it to facilitate any sort of move to go after anybody they want. The math on this and the guys they could get, we could go down a giant rabbit hole. We'll save that for a day when we have nothing else to talk about. And we'll get Matt Murphy back on here to explain all the machinations of this. So there's avenues for the Celtics here. And I'd say good on Danny for getting something. I will kind of lay off him a little bit for because they get something instead of nothing. So he should get credit for that. Second thing I'd say is it kind of seems clear that I think both things can be true. Gordon Hayward would have taken less money to go to Indiana. For whatever reasons, that process stalling between the Celtics and the Pacers made the Hornets offering $120 million immediately appealing. And it's clear the one thing Hayward wanted was a bigger role. Now, I'll get on the guy for saying, don't you want to win a ring? You know, you're still going to get good cash. Wouldn't you want to be part of a championship team? But I think, like we said, he came here to Boston to be 1 or 1A with Kyrie. Or it's actually Isaiah Thomas at the time. But that was supposed to be your duo with a rookie Tatum and a second-year Jaylen Brown kind of growing. And he said this in his press conference, through no fault of his own or the team. He gets hurt. Slow process getting back. At that point, Tatum and Brown have ascended. The team dynamic is different. His role is different. And I'd say the guy was a consummate pro. He was a total professional through the whole thing. I think he was a huge part of their success during this time because of all the things he did. And I wouldn't say he was frustrated, but I think it's a guy who just thinks that I can be doing more. I want to have a bigger role. And I kind of think it's silly that, he wants that role in Charlotte as opposed to, say, waiting it out and getting that role in Indiana on a playoff team. But, hey, maybe when an extra $30 million is thrown in your face, you say, you know what, I'll go to Charlotte. But I think it's clear from his press conference that, there's no bad blood. It's just kind of unfortunate. It didn't work out the way that he wanted it to work out, and it didn't work out the way that the Celtics wanted it to work out. The team still won a lot of games, but he wasn't the star of it. And I think he wants to be the star of the show. Can question whether or not that dude should want that. I don't know. Your thoughts, Christian, on Hayward's statements and what the Celtics finally end up getting out of all of this?
Yeah, I mean, look, I wonder if part of Danny Ainge, I would guess the Celtics are not very big on Miles Turner just based on everything that went down. But also, maybe they just didn't want to hand Hayward over to a team that is going to be competing with them. I don't know. I'm not going to give Danny Ainge credit yet either because this player exception, you have to use this for something, right? You can, whether it's for an actual player or you can use this trade exception now and transfer it to some other team to get a bigger piece, right, in the offseason or whatever. But he's got to use this exception in one way or another. If he doesn't, this whole sign and trade was a fail anyway. So until something happens with it, he doesn't get credit for getting this player exception because I'm not convinced he's going to use it. And I'll say this about Hayward is I don't know if it's I feel like it's a little bit of a detriment to him to be an 8th seed in the East, maybe to be number 1 on a team. I don't know. I question the mindset a little bit instead of trying to win a title here, but I also think, is this a detriment to the Celtics team that these guys don't care about the winning as much and they want to leave? Like Hayward could stay here and have a lesser role, but also have a better chance at a title. And I just wonder if this Celtics team needs a shakeup at some point. I don't know. We'll see going forward, but I'm starting to think that this team has some type of issue where these guys don't want to stay because Kyrie was a different animal. Like Danny Ainge made the right deal at the time. The guy is just such a putz that like nobody could have predicted what he was going to do. But Horford and Hayward are two guys that like I feel like should have wanted to stay here. And just didn't. I mean, Hayward's the biggest one, right? Because he's just left. And I just don't I question whether it's something internally with the Celtics as much as it is Hayward's mindset.
Well, I think Horford left because he thought his better chance of winning was going to be with the Sixers, which was a really dumb bet to make.
Yeah. Not the best, but
and he also wanted to get paid again, which the Celtics they found a way they were going to be able to offer him decent money to come back, and he said no because he probably didn't think that they were going to go further than the Sixers did last year, which they did, swept them out of the playoffs. I just think with Hayward it's special. It's a different. They're all different. I think with Hayward, like I said, lying on the ground with his leg in pieces, he probably couldn't have ever imagined playing basketball and getting offered $120 million to play basketball in his life again. And so I just think if the Celtics were offering him money to come back and be, if Jaylen Brown, say, wasn't on this team, right, I think Hayward probably comes back. If Jason Tatum's not on this team, Hayward comes back. I just think he doesn't want to just be the fill in the cracks guy. Like, hey, I'll be a starter, but I'll play my minutes into like playing with the bench, and I'll average 15 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and like a steal and a block.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be a major part of why the Celtics win. Some games I might score 30, I might score 20 some night. Some nights I might hand out 15 assists. I might block 5 shots one game. I'm going to play 3 positions. He did all of that for them quietly and happily. I just think the guy wants to be more of a focal point.
I think eventually
I don't think that's a problem with the Celtics. I'd say it's probably better, if that guy's going to be unhappy in that role, I'd rather have somebody else in that role than a guy that's not as focused on winning, right? If you're the Celtics.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels weird to me that both, Horford and Hayward both had opportunities to come back here.
But it's not like Hayward went to Miami. If Hayward went to Miami, then yeah, that's an indictment on you as an organization. He went to Charlotte.
Yeah, but I mean, sure, but it's just like you had an opportunity to get, $100 million and potential winning. So maybe it's more on Hayward. I don't know, but I think Hayward probably will have a monster year if he's healthy, just based on how the minutes are going to work there. But I just think this Celtics team they're gonna come to a crossroads here where it's gonna be Jaylen Brown or Marcus Smart that needs to move, because I don't think you win with these 3 guys. And the Celtics hype up. The problem that I have is lately it's like they're hyping up Marcus Smart to be the 3rd piece in the big 3. I don't think he is that. He is a good, solid player that makes winning plays and is, come off the bench. He is not a superstar in the NBA. I'm sorry.
He's not. He shouldn't be a scoring superstar. The problem's been, so that's the thing. With Hayward, inconsistent because he's trying to come back from a just devastating injury or not available like he was in the playoffs. Marcus Smart was the guy who had to pick up the slack because he was the next best comparable piece to be able to score, right? And Marcus Smart, I said, his ideal role is play defense, facilitate the offense, take 5 or 6 shots a game. Maybe more if you're getting stuff in transition and it's really, really great looks, right? Max, like 9 shots, not 20. But somebody has to take those shots. And it wasn't always just going to be Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. Now they have Kemba there. So if Kemba's healthy, he should be taking those shots. Marcus Smart should not take more than 5 shots now ever. Want to know why? They have Aaron Naismith. He's the guy that should be getting all those threes.
So will he? Probably not.
Well, that's the, if Marcus Smart is still taking like 10 threes a game and Naismith isn't getting any, then I'm going to be like, dude, we drafted this guy to be the best 3-point shooter on the team. He should be shooting more threes than you. We'll have to see what happens.
Here again, though, this is the Celtics thing where everything is awesome and nothing can go wrong because we're the Celtics and Smart keeps shooting threes, and nobody's going to tell him to stop shooting threes because then you mess with his whole psyche. So this could become a problem. It has been in the past.
Well, it'll be interesting, like you said, and we've both said the pressure's on this year now because it's the first year they're really running the team back. No Hayward, obviously, but I mean they played like basically the last 3 years without him, kind of similarly. This is the first year you're bringing back the same point guard.
Yeah, I know.
Because you had half a year with Kyrie and then Terry Rozier, and that 2018-19 team was a complete mess. This is the first year you're really taking the same team that it feels like it's a team, and you're bringing it back. So we'll see what happens. You bring up Kyrie, and we'll touch on him quickly here. I guess Christian, I know he's your favorite player. He's going to not speak to the media this year. Yeah. Essentially, which I don't know. I get it because every time the guy does something or says something, people take it and maybe they read too much into it, or people try to find things to like pin on him. But dude, that's the bed you made. Like Kyrie, I feel like refuses to admit that Kyrie is part of the reason why he has a bad relationship with the media. Like it starts with him, and I'm sorry, it's part of your obligation as a player. You get paid $40 million, you have to come and talk to us, and that's honestly the only way. It's only gonna get better. The more you try to like say that it's the media's fault and the media sucks and I hate the media and I'm not gonna talk to you, I don't have to. They're just gonna there's gonna be more animosity there. So it's kind of like we've passed the point of no return with his relationship with the media. I don't know. Again, I'm glad that he's not the Celtics problem. I'm waiting to see how long it is before the Nets want to keep putting up with him and he gets traded for James Harden.
Yeah, you're holding out hope for that one. I have some thoughts on Kyrie, but I don't really care to talk about Kyrie. Look, when he's on the floor, he's an elite talent, and everybody likes watching the guy play basketball, right? This is your job, okay? You can't. I don't understand this thing where he just thinks like the media is the absolute devil to him. It just makes no sense because half of the reason he has a problem with the media is self-inflicted, and he can't come to realize that for whatever reason. I just don't understand that. This is like me saying I'm going to go into my day job, and I'm just not going to. These people over here, I'm not going to help them. You know, I don't want to help them, so I'll just help everybody else. Like, everybody has a job to do right now. And unfortunately, sometimes the media is very critical of you. Oh, my goodness. You're getting paid $30-something million to play basketball. And, like, he has all these comments. This is why I can't get behind the guy is he has all these comments where he's saying, it's just a game. It's just basketball. It's not like this astronomical thing that I'm doing here. Like, dude, you're an elite-level athlete. This is your job. Just answer questions from the media. Like, why is that so difficult for you? I don't understand that. Half the reason there's a problem is because he says something stupid.
Yeah.
If you just answer the question like every other normal athlete, where like they say they have a controversial question like, oh, we saw you talking to KD in the hallway there and talking about 2 max contracts. Is that true? And he just like goes off and attacks everybody instead of just saying, no, it's not true.
Or, hey, it was a personal conversation, and I'm going to keep that between us.
Like, dude, stop. You can't shoot yourself in the foot and then blame everybody else. It just doesn't make any sense.
It's like that Eric Andre meme, where he's like shooting the guy. How could you do this to yourself?
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. My Kyrie thoughts are just like this guy. He just continues to shoot himself in the foot.
Do you think he makes it through the year in Brooklyn?
Probably. Yeah, I would say so. I don't think any big deal with Harden is going to go down. Now it probably could, but I just don't view it that way. I think they want to see what they have with these two guys.
I mean, Houston has said they're going to be patient with Harden. Now, they traded Westbrook for John Wall, which I think is like one of the most even trades
100%.
in NBA history. Their salaries are only $10,000 different. Yeah. It's insane. So very even trade. It's like one of those trades you make with like a friend in fantasy because you're bored in the office one day. You're like, hey, want to trade Tom Brady for Drew Brees? Sure. Okay. Swap.
Yeah.
It's like that. I think because Harden's under contract for many years, they have no reason to trade him. Now, he's been like a dink. Has he reported yet to the facility? I think Harden it still hasn't reported to training camp yet. So I guess he could try and force his way out that way. But at that point, the Rockets have all the power here. They could just say, okay, well, we're just going to withhold your salary. Like you're literally breaching the contract. We have a contract with you. I think that buys time for the Nets. I think a deal gets done at the trade deadline. I think for Harden, whether he goes to the Nets or not, I think it works for the Nets' benefit to see what they got with Kyrie and this group and decide who we want, who we don't want, and at the trade deadline, we'll try and ship out whoever we can to try and get Harden because that's where he wants to go. The secret's out, which gives your team all the leverage because now you have no leverage.
I mean, we'll see pretty quick whether Kyrie is engaged because we'll see if he shows up in Boston on Christmas Day. I'm not convinced he's gonna yet, but
they should pipe in booze.
Yeah,
please.
Every time he touches the ball.
If anybody in the Celtics organization is listening right now, the right thing to do is to send every Celtics fan, do a social media, send out an email, something. Oh, yeah. Everybody gets to pre-record a boo that gets played on the jumbotron, and you just echoing, just fill the arena with boos for Kyrie.
You know what? It's very fitting though that he would come back with no fans in the building. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
that is Kyrie's element. No fans, no media. He's just by himself in the gym. Nothing to worry about against his former team. He's going to come back. That's the one time he's going to play in Boston. Every other game he probably won't. But no fans, he's down for it.
They should let one guy in off the street.
Yeah.
Off Causeway Street.
Seriously, why not?
Hey, Kyrie! Boo!
He might leave. He might honestly leave the building if they do that.
Wait, there's one guy in here? Oh, my shoulder.
Yeah. Flaring up again. Also, just a quick note. Does it feel like the NBA season is about to start in 2 weeks? 2.5 weeks?
Unbelievable, right? It's insane. I was just talking with, friend of the show, Matt Murphy, our cap and draft analyst. And we were talking about what the Celtics should do with Kemba, being not ready to go because he's recovering from a stem cell injection in his knee, which, quick note on that, could potentially be really, really good for him. Kobe had this done, and it really elongated his career in his knee issues. So hopefully this kind of solves Kemba's issues. But if he's not ready to go, do you start Jeff Teague?
Yes.
Or do you start Peyton Pritchard? Because that way, when Kemba comes back, you're not disrupting your normal rotations. You let the bench be the bench, and you start the third guy, and that way he's going to be fine being thrown back to being the third guy. It's not going to have to be a total adjustment of Teague having to now play with the bench. What do you think about that?
Jeff Teague starts. There is on no earth 1, 2, or 3. I am starting Peyton Pritchard over Jeff Teague. Doesn't matter if the bench is going to be thrown off or anything like that. The best chance to win is to put Jeff Teague in the game because he is a veteran and he gives you the best opportunity to win.
Okay. Will you admit though that sometimes that coaches will do that? They'll have now maybe at the start of the season. You're right. There are no rotations, so it's not going to upset anything. But you'll see that in the middle of a season, hey, so and so is hurt. we're going to start Tremont Waters instead because we want to keep that bench unit kind of together instead of trying to screw up everything. Like coaches do that.
Yeah, and Brad Stevens would be one to do it because he loves sucky bench players. So I would 100% not put it past him to start like Trey Waters or Carson Edwards at point guard. Give them the first 5 minutes just to give you a chance to get blown out, and then you can come back. I mean, especially in a weird year like this, Jeff Teague, if Peyton Pritchard starts over Jeff Teague with not a minute and barely any camp time, I will boycott the season.
You're just always looking for a way out. You haven't actually followed through on any of this. Where's your Warriors jersey?
Well, they didn't technically they didn't draft all 3 picks and they didn't take Poku. So far so good. And they got that trade exception, so hopefully they use it.
Yeah. But me and Matt Murphy were discussing this. It was like, hey, do you realize like in 2 weeks we're going to be standing outside in Pez's backyard, freezing our butts off, watching NBA basketball? Because I've been streaming games outside so that people can come and be socially distant and watch. I project them onto a wall. But yeah, crazy how the season's going to start soon. I realized we hadn't touched on this. We were talking about teams that could challenge the Lakers. The Clippers are, supposed to be the Battle of LA last year.
So much for that.
And we all knew we knew because of the eye test told us something's not right with this team. We said it, others said it, something's not right. What is it? Is it the fact that they basically had a team of established role players who were starters who now had to become bench players, and you kind of built the team in reverse? Usually you sell off a team, get your star players, and then fill it in with guys on veteran contracts. They kind of did the opposite. They just threw star players on top of a team. What is that dynamic like? Now this is going to be kind of long, but I just want to read off. This is the problems. This was what was wrong with the Clippers. Pat Bev / Trez and Lou, Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams, apparently not very happy about Kawhi and Paul George having their privileges, as well as changing the Clippers culture from the 2018-19 team, which took Golden State to a competitive 6 games. According to multiple league sources, the perks the Clippers gave Leonard and George began to compromise the standard of culture they had built over the past few seasons, the very culture that the Clippers used in part to attract Leonard and George to Los Angeles. Some of these perks included: Leonard and George were the only players to have their own personal security guards and trainers. Leonard and George had power over the team's practice and travel schedule, leading to teammates to believe Leonard canceled multiple practices. Leonard was allowed to live in San Diego and commute from there, which often made him late for team flights. Leonard and George typically didn't speak to the media until at least 45 minutes after games concluded, under the guise of post-game treatments or workouts. This usually resulted in their teammates speaking with the media first and for longer, essentially becoming the public voices of the team. Teammates also believed that Leonard and George were able to pick and choose when they played. Not only did they sit out games entirely, but also at times they accepted or declined playing time in the moment. While star treatment can work in a locker room, and some of these practices aren't necessarily unique to the Clippers, it resulted in a lack of buy-in from this particular group, league sources said. And this tidbit about Kawhi isn't a very good one for him at all, irrespective of intent. Before every Clippers game last season, the team's training staff would honor Kawhi Leonard's request and create a private space for his pregame routine. The staffers would enter and take over that space for roughly 20 to 45 minutes, according to multiple teams and league sources. Oh my God! No wonder that Montrezl Harrell wanted out of that and went to the Lakers to now try and beat this team. No wonder Doc wanted out of this stuff. And guess what? No surprise that Ty Lue is now the coach. The ultimate whipping boy head coach. Whatever the players want. Yuck. That team is going nowhere.
Yeah.
Nowhere.
I wouldn't be surprised if guys like Lou Williams aren't out of there by the trade deadline. I would not be surprised one bit. I mean, let's just say, right off the top, if you're Doc Rivers, like it's bad when you choose to go to the Sixers over the Clippers. Like the Sixers of all teams, what a mess that was as well. Which he'll improve that team, but man, what a detriment to this team now because you thought you had a couple of years at a chance at a title. I don't think you're going anywhere fast at this point.
Yeah, I mean, right now, like let's rank the Western Conference. I'm gonna say Lakers, number one. Next, I'll say Nuggets. Then you've got this big jumble in the middle. I'd say Dallas, Portland, Phoenix, Golden State, and then the Clippers. The Clippers are like bottom of the Western Conference right now because this stuff doesn't go away just because you get a new head coach. It only gets worse. This stuff will only be worse. And that team, I mean, what did they do to improve? I want to look.
They got rid of guys. That's how they're going to improve.
Yeah, I mean, they got Serge Ibaka. Does he change any of this? Reggie Jackson stays.
Ibaka's a pretty good player, but
yeah, but he's not gonna none of this stuff. All the things that all you do. Honestly, they would have been better, like you said, blowing it up, getting Morris out of there, getting Williams out of there, getting all these guys out of there who were like the ones who were like upset at Paul George and Kawhi because it's like, guys, we like were building a thing last year and now you're piling on and acting like total divas and haven't won anything. They'd be better off blowing it up and keeping those stars. They haven't changed. Nothing's changed. You've just got a more of a complicit head coach.
Well, didn't they sign Morris to a huge contract too?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I mean, Serge Ibaka helps. I think he's a pretty good replacement for Montrezl Harrell, but at the end of the day, I think there's going to be more pieces to move there. I just don't see how you can, maybe by the trade deadline. However, I will say in the West, they're probably still the 4th seed because of the talent. Like we saw what happened when, all this other stuff gets in the way. They only win 49 games, which was second best in the West. So they're still going to be up there just based on the players that they have on the team. They're going to win games. I mean, I don't see them faltering that much compared to last year. Like it probably will get worse before it gets better, I guess. But at the same time, the amount of talent on the team is just going to trump stuff in certain games, and they're going to win. They're still going to win a bunch of games just based on the amount of superstars and the talent on the bench and everything like that. It's not. I don't think it's like crippling to the point where they're going to be like 8th seed, but they'll probably only be the 4th. And I don't think they compete with the Lakers. I'll say that.
I don't think I don't think they're a top 4 team in the West. No shot. No shot.
Talent trumps everything in that league.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see. Hey, it's okay to disagree. Just in the end, someone's right and someone's wrong.
And it's mostly me. Just kidding.
Oh boy. So that'll do it kind of for our NBA notes. Season does start 22nd for or 22nd or 23rd. I think it's the 22nd for the Celtics. So right around the corner, 2 weeks. Unbelievable. Training camps. Teams have reported back. They'll start practicing soon. So that season is going to get up and running. Once again, the NBA leading the way here with all of this stuff, and the other teams just other leagues
trying to get off the way here,
trying to just figure themselves trying to get out of their own way. And so we'll just hit quickly on the NHL. They haven't figured it out yet. There's really not much has changed. Both sides are still arguing about how many games to play, how much money is going to be withheld, because of same deal with the NBA having to withhold losses from the players. Same deal is happening in the NHL. Fans, no fans, potential for outdoor games, how many games get played, 56, 48. Is the NHL getting dangerously close to MLB territory here, Christian, where you're already a niche sport with a niche following, and you have had the opportunity to grow in the last few years? I think they did grow even because of COVID, because people watched because there was nothing else to watch in the summer last year. Are they in danger of doing harm to themselves here if they squabble and argue over money and all these little like some players are saying they won't play again until there's a vaccine? Are they in danger of really hurting themselves here with how much progress they've made in the last 10 years?
That's tough to say, honestly, because just the way things are, like in reality, the NHL compared to like the NFL and NBA, like the gate is so important in the NHL that like they're going to be at a loss here no matter what, especially if they can't get fans, which is why they're exploring outdoor options to see if they can get some fans in there because the gate matters so much. There's no huge TV deals in the NHL. There's none of that. So, I mean, there's definitely flaws here, but they're trying to work through it at least. And I think the NHL eventually gets something done. They usually do. So they're looking at obviously they wanted to start January 1. That's not going to happen. But mid-January, they're looking at with a 56-game schedule, something like that. If players want to opt out, I'm sure there will be an option to do so. And a lot of players will opt in. So until they get something done, I guess, yeah. I mean, they're not doing themselves any favors here. But really, they're going to be at a loss no matter what, just based on the gate alone. That's really the amount of money that comes into the NHL through the gate and ticket sales and all the revenue they get from stadiums here. It's just going to be you're going to be at a loss anyway. So get it done right. Get something done here where the players want to do it. They feel safe. They're probably worried about themselves and their families. Same as last year. But at the end of the day, I think they get something done here. It's just a matter of when it starts, whether it's mid-January, maybe end of January, and how much they. I've read a couple things that say don't read into the outdoor games as much. So it's really still all up in the air. I would imagine in the next couple of weeks here, we're going to get something more definitive. But until the NHL doesn't get something done, I'm just going to believe that they will because usually they come through with some type of agreement here. It's just not going to be what we thought. Maybe 56 games to me is still pretty good. I mean, look, that might even heighten the product at the tail end of the season. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. I mean, one quick thing on the NHL, just a quick aside. I don't know if you saw this morning. Jerome McGinley yesterday in the snowstorm in Boston randomly popped up on Channel 25 News, and they didn't know who he was. He just like they caught him on the road in the middle of the snowstorm, and he just popped up on the news. It was hilarious.
What is he doing in Boston?
I don't know. I said the same thing when I saw this. But he just randomly he was on random 25 Boston News in the middle of the snowstorm, and he just popped up on TV. It was the weirdest thing.
That's outrageous. So, I mean, he's retired, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know what he's doing here, though.
he's coming back. the Brewers are just like, you know what? We're running it back with a bunch of other old guys. Hey, you want to come out of retirement?
Yeah.
How old is he now? He is 43.
Yeah. He was just being a classic New Englander in the middle of the snowstorm, driving around.
I mean, does he like live here? Like, I really am curious. I'm trying to see.
Yeah, it was just funny
when he retired. Yeah, he retired in 2018. He got selected to the Hall of Fame back in June. I don't know. Weird. I mean, hey, maybe he was back visiting some. I mean, though you shouldn't be visiting people right now. I don't know. That's bizarre. I need to know more. I need to find out now.
Oh, it's so funny. Just if you just watch him talking, they clearly have no idea who he is. They just think he's some random guy, and he's like, "Yeah, we're from Canada, so we just put some snow tires on and all this." I'm just like, "Yeah, I don't know, man." Like this is the most Jerome McGinley thing to just pop up on Boston TV.
Well, I'll have to do some digging. I'll talk to some people. I'll see if we can find out what Iggy was doing in Boston. So, once we get updates from the NHL, we'll give those to you. NBA season started in a couple weeks here. Want to hit quickly on the best sports team in Boston, Christian. I said it last week. For those who aren't paying attention, the New England Revolution play today at 3 o'clock. 3 p.m. They are in the conference finals, trying to go to the MLS final. the New England Revolution could be the team that wins the championship in Boston this year. It'll be the most 2020 thing ever. But Bruce Arena has just got this team. He's doing with the Revolution what he does everywhere. He gets the team to play hard and win. And they upset Philadelphia 2 weeks ago. They dominate Orlando City last week. 3-1 win. Big penalty kick save at one point in that game for Turner. So I don't know. They're a great story right now. I think more people are starting to pay attention. And I said last week, Revs fans won't care. If you want a bandwagon and jump on, we'll take it. Jump on the bandwagon. Go for the ride. So the Revs play today at 3 against Columbus in the Cup final for the conference finals for a chance to go to the MLS final. Last time I think they made the final was 2014. It was crazy. They played. I think they played the Galaxy in that. And they were playing the same day as the Patriots were playing the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. And because the Crafts own both teams. So they were like, which are you going to be at? And they were like, well, we're going to be at the MLS final and then get in a helicopter and like zip up the coast to get to Sunday Night Football, basically like land for kickoff. So I'd have to double. I think that's the last time they were in the Cup, the MLS final was 2014. 3:00 today. I think they got a great shot. Soccer can be hard for American audiences to watch, but good soccer is fun. When you watch the World Cup, when soccer is played well, when you get teams that are willing to attack and create, it's all about. Same with hockey. It's all about scoring chances. A 1-0 hockey game is thrilling if there's chances. Now, if both teams are playing a neutral zone trap, it's like, what are we doing?
Right.
The Revs are fun. The Revs are fun to watch. Jump on, pile on. Patriots play at 4. You can watch the Revs and still be able to see the second half of the Patriots game. At least flip back and forth. So highly recommend tuning into the Revs here today. Did you catch any of the game last week?
I caught a bit of it, yeah. Bit in the first half. But they look ready to go every game here. So obviously they're doing something right. And Arena, you hear him on different radio shows around town. I mean, he's always engaged, and since he's came over here, he's had these guys ready to go. I mean, they play hard no matter what. And look, I hope they win. I mean, it would be great for 2020. Why not have a New England team back in the finals? Not who we thought, but we'll still take it. Right?
Exactly. It'd be perfect. So 3:00 today, the Revs will be playing Columbus Crew. So worth watching, worth tuning in. We're going to get now to, we're going to talk NFL. And before we get to picks or anything like that, let's just kind of run through. We dubbed it last week the NFL COVID mess. And there was 3 situations. There was the 49ers not having a home anymore. There's the Broncos without a quarterback. And then the Ravens-Steelers game.
Yeah.
We'll start with the 49ers not having a home. They have a home now. Arizona. They're flying to Arizona today to play. And then they're staying in Arizona. Bonkers. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, hey, this is what we're dealt with in the NFL. We find ways to go through this. If there's COVID cases, we push through. We'll have guys do different travel schedules, and the NFL is just put the blinders on, and no matter what, we're getting games in.
Yeah. And on that note, the Ravens-Steelers game was played on Wednesday. Believe it or not, when do you think the most recent Wednesday night football or Wednesday afternoon football game was, Christian?
Jeez. I honestly have no idea. I don't remember the last one.
I thought it was going to be like 1947, which there were. That's like pre-1950. There were some Wednesday games. But there actually was one in 2012. I had forgotten about this. The Giants played the Cowboys to open the season, but there was supposed to be like a big Democratic National Convention speech with President Obama that Thursday. So instead of having the football game go on the Thursday, they pushed it back. Which, you know what? that makes sense, to play a football game at a different time than the president speaking. That makes sense. What didn't make sense was playing an NFL game at 3:40 in the afternoon so that we could have a Christmas tree lighting.
Yeah. Right.
Those two things kind of don't seem comparable.
This is the year that we've had. Christmas tree lighting, football. I mean, hey, I don't know. Either way, that was hardly a football game anyway. So at that point, why not just play it in the middle of the day so nobody can watch?
Yeah. Goodell did speak during that game. I don't know. He seemed kind of tone deaf. They're asking him about could there be a bubble for the playoffs? How do you think things are going? He's like, people seem to think that we're not willing to have the conversation around a bubble, but if we felt like our protocols weren't working, it's like, dude, do you realize you're talking at 4:00 in the afternoon on a Wednesday? Wednesday football is not a thing.
Yeah.
How can you sit there and say our protocols are working? Yes, we're gonna keep soldiering on. It's all going fine. Literally in the burning room, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
This is the most Roger Goodell thing I could have imagined. We believe in our protocols. Oh, are you watching the game that you're talking during? It's barely a game against this Wednesday football should be a premier matchup. Ravens Steelers, middle of the afternoon on a random Wednesday. Now that doesn't help, but two of the best teams in the league, presumably. And it was an absolute cluster F because of your protocols. This is the point that we're at. How do you go on TV during this game and say, no, we believe our protocols are working and the bubble doesn't seem necessary at this time? Okay. All right. Well, then there's really no hope because they're just going to keep doing what they're doing. But if I'm the NFL and I see how the bubble worked for the NBA and the NHL and the product that was on the court and ice, I would think that, maybe shifting to a bubble, at least maybe, I don't know, want to say quarters, conference final, whatever, would be the best option. But no, they believe in what they're doing.
They've had all this. I don't care. They're going to play a whole season. They're going to have a Super Bowl. They failed. They completely failed because they had all the time. Their season ended in February.
Yeah.
I was still going to mass gatherings when the NFL season ended.
Pretty much.
I wasn't washing my hands every 20 minutes when the NFL season ended.
Remember those days?
We and you did the show in person when the NFL season ended. They had all the time. They even had the benefit of watching the NFL and the MLB and the NHL figure out how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have then just copied and picked what worked, what didn't work, what could they apply, and move forward and say, hey, regular season, it's too difficult. We're going to have to just fight our way through it, but here's the plan. Bubble for the playoffs. It still could happen, but then they're going to be throwing it together right now.
Yep.
They should have had the here's the plan for bubble for playoffs, ready to go. If we need to do it, we've already figured out how it's going to be done. We've got it all lined up. Break glass in case of emergency. Nope, they're going to be just cobbling it together.
Imagine
they failed. At COVID, they've completely failed.
Yeah, but imagine this, right? You get into the playoffs, there's no bubble. The Steelers are, say, 15-1 going into the playoffs, or 16-0 even. And Ben Roethlisberger gets COVID. And they lose a game because of it. Because they're not in a bubble. Imagine this stuff. You have the potential to go to a Super Bowl on an undefeated season, and Roethlisberger and a wide receiver get COVID. Then what happens? You're going to push the games back to get those guys back in the game?
Oh, Christian. So I wanted to have the 16-0 discussion, and I hadn't even thought of applying that to it, because the Ravens should have been a test. Now the Ravens won on paper. If you're a betting person, that broken tackle touchdown, the 60-yard touchdown for Hollywood Brown. I said, hey, the Ravens may not win this game, but that touchdown is significant to many because it helped them cover the spread. And I wanted to ask you, I was like, do you think the Steelers can go 16-0? And there's a couple of different. I had imagined Steelers. So let's take your scenario. Steelers go 16-0. They get to the playoffs, and they have to expand the playoff field to 8 teams because of, say, maybe we lose another game because of COVID. And the 8-8 Patriots are playing the 16-0 Steelers.
Right. And
And the Patriots beat the Steelers because they don't have Ben Roethlisberger because he's got COVID. Oh my God!
that's what we're headed towards. I'm telling you, this is what's going to happen because the
Cam
NFL
Newton throws for 60
blind.
yards and 3 picks, but the Patriots, Nick Folk kicks a 60-yard field goal to beat the 16-0 Steelers.
This is where we're going because they are so down on the bubble and so down on everything that would work. I know this is going to happen. I can't wait. It's just going to be like, how many people will be pissed off at the NFL at that point?
Oh, I mean, honestly, only Steelers fans. Steelers fans would be losing. I know some. Steelers fans would be losing their minds. Do you think the Steelers can go 16-0?
Just looking at their schedule, yes, there's a possibility that they could. Now, I think they have a couple of toss-ups. I think Buffalo could get them. I think Indy or Cleveland could get them. Now, if Joe Burrow was healthy, I'd say even Cincy, maybe that's a trap game. But at this point, yeah, I mean, there's a good possibility that they do. Their schedule is not super strong at the end here, but it just feels like a 2020 year. The last game of the season, they're going to be 15-0, and the Browns are going to beat them. It just feels like that. So I'm rooting for Baker. I hope they do, but I think it's definitely possible. Now, who knows what happens with COVID too? They could get 8 guys go down like the Ravens and then lose 2 games in a row. We don't know. So that's even a possibility. But there's a strong chance that they could. Just Washington, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Indy, Cleveland. Buffalo maybe is the best opportunity for them to drop a game. That's a premier primetime game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a chance, just based on everything.
As a Patriots fan, Christian, obviously, I don't think you'd want to see the Steelers go 19-0.
No.
So take that off the board. So let's say they're going to have to lose a game then. Would you rather them lose the Super Bowl and be 18-1, or would you rather them lose a game now and say go 18-1 but win the Super Bowl?
That's tough because I hate the Steelers. So either way, I lose. But I'd like to see them lose in the regular season. Not even get the opportunity. And then, if they win one, good for them. They've been a good team all year, best team in the NFL all year. They deserve to win it. I don't want to see the 19-0, or I would accept 18-1 and a win in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I think 18-1 with a loss in the Super Bowl would be like, now somebody else knows our pain.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But having to sit and watch a Super Bowl where I know the Steelers could potentially be a 19-0 team,
I know,
would be like, that would be probably the most nerve-wrecked I'd be for a non-Patriots game.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because it would just be, especially like Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and the Patriots couldn't do it, but Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger are.
That'd be disappointing.
Not that they're a bad coach and a bad quarterback, but those two would jettison into greatest of all time discussion.
I know.
Ben's third would be a 19-0.
That's gross. Yeah. I can't. I can't get behind it.
So, yeah, you gotta hope that somebody gets. Now, I actually don't think this. I think the Steelers could go 16-0. I don't even think they're getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
because as long as COVID doesn't screw things up, they're not beating the Chiefs.
No, I don't think so either. Exactly.
I don't see any team beating the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to repeat. So, Colin says, but it would come with an asterisk.
Agreed.
The Steelers were going 19-0. Yes, but so does the Dolphins. They went 17-0, 14-game season. Doesn't matter. That does not matter to Mercury Morris. Mercury Morris does not care that the Patriots are the only team to ever go 18-0. They didn't win the Super Bowl. So there's already an asterisk with that undefeated season thing, and doesn't seem to matter to people. So people will forget about the asterisk.
Not me. I'm a big asterisk guy. I never forget.
Christian, I think I might get you a T-shirt for Christmas that says that. I'm a big asterisk guy.
Yeah, honestly. You know what? I'm going to get a onesie. You know, like the green suit from Always Sunny? It's going to be black with just a big asterisk on the front of it. That'd be perfect.
Last note of the COVID mess for the NFL. We talked about Broncos not having a quarterback. Hey, I give Kendall Hinton tons of respect.
Yeah.
Practice squad wide receiver getting called up. I watched a lot of that game. I kind of blame the play calling. Why did they not just try to do more? Like, I would have just been throwing screens, little short, dinky, dunky passes. Instead, they tried to actually have him throw the ball down the field.
Yeah, didn't quite get that one.
Yes, are they going to see the short stuff coming? But at least try that. I don't know. I feel like they kind of put him in a bad spot to the point where he threw 4 picks. -4 fantasy points, not good. But I give him a ton of credit for going out there and gutting it out and playing. And the Broncos even tweeted out afterwards, we played a game. The score is what it is. Tons of credit to Kendall. Absolutely. Major props to the guy. I don't know what more you could have expected. I actually think the Broncos could have done better. I blame some of their play calling in their strategy. I think they could have. Were they going to win the game? No, they could have been more competitive in that game for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I don't know how much you can really do with a guy like that. Now, I will say, try to get Jerry Jeudy in space maybe or something, and just let him go. Or one of these guys, even Lindsey, they lined up with him in Wildcat a couple times. Why not just get him out in space and throw a little flip pass, screen pass, something? But I don't know. I don't think they were going to do much anyway. They got on the board, though. They got some points. It's better than I thought.
3 points. I told you, 3 points. They're going to get a field goal, baby.
Not bad.
They covered the Pez spread.
I mean, look, their defense is still pretty decent. Yeah. Just without a quarterback, I don't know how much you can expect without a quarterback.
So that brings us to picks. Christian, you're just killing me. You picked up 3 points last week. You're up 104-87.
And that's with me picking Tampa Brady over.
Yeah, I should get double points because that Kansas City Tampa game was a bludgeoning.
Double points. I should get double points because you picked Cincinnati so many times.
Or that I picked the Jets to beat.
Or the Jets, yeah, to beat the Bills, was it?
Or the Bills, yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't one of your finest.
True. Hey, no one has ever said that I was the man who was afraid to take risks.
That's fair. I'll give it to you.
Yeah. I lay it all out there.
I don't know if that's as much of a risk as it is a guaranteed L, but you know what? I'll give it to you.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get into it now. I'll let you pull up the schedule. No, we did not have Thursday Night Football this week because the Ravens were supposed to play Thursday Night Football, and since you played on a Wednesday, you can't play on a Thursday. Though I wouldn't have been shocked if the NFL wanted to try. So no Thursday Night Football. So games today, tomorrow, and I think we even have Tuesday game. Do we have a Tuesday game this week?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Yucky.
Dallas, Baltimore.
So let's get into it.
So we got Tampa Bay and Carolina on the bye this week, and so we start with New Orleans at Atlanta.
Oh man, Atlanta. Talk about that was I was stunned.
Yeah, wow.
I thought we said the Raiders. Hey, this could be a close game because the Raiders usually always end up being in close games, but they're the far and away better team. Whew, they must have read their own.
43-6.
They must have read their own clippings, boy. Oh my God, that was stunning. Probably the most stunning, result. Can you think of a more stunning game from this year?
No.
As far as
no,
maybe if the Patriots had beaten the Chiefs with Brian Hoyer,
Look, I could see the Raiders losing, maybe 23-20, but 43-6. If you put up 6 points against the Falcons, who absolutely blow, there's a problem.
Yeah. So that was rather stunning. I'm going to take New Orleans just because they're pulling away in that division, and I think they're locked in. They find a way to win. I'm not sold on. At this point now, I think I'm kind of like Taysom Hill is a utility tool, not a starting quarterback, and the Saints will be looking for a quarterback in the offseason when Breeze retires. Yeah. But I'm picking the Saints here today.
Yeah, I'll go Saints as well. This is just the type of week for the Falcons to put up like 3 points and get blown out. It's so Falcons.
I wanted to bring up. You said Tampa Bay's on the bye week, Christian. Just really quick on the Bucks. We've said it here for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. All is not well in Tampa, and all continues to be not well. You know, Tony Romo tried to deflect as much blame away from Brady as he could, while also bringing up, oh, they ran this play in New England, they ran this play in New England, like pointing out all the things that they did in New England whenever the Bucs were doing something good. Further proof that the marriage of Bruce Arians and Tom Brady just doesn't seem to work. Yeah. Any more credence to what I said? Now, maybe they don't necessarily trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, but do you think it will work there at all? Does Bucs ownership say we've got Tom Brady in this roster? Sorry, Bruce, gotta go at the end of the year.
Yeah, I would if I was them. Like, look, I think Brady can still play. I don't think Antonio Brown is helping. Number one, like, look, in my personal opinion, Chris Godwin should be Brady's guy on this Bucs team, and for whatever reason, he's not. Godwin is someone that I would look at as a Patriots fan to say, bring in this guy because he's perfect for this system. But for whatever reason, it's not working. I think part of it is Arians. Most of it is Arians. Brady is not helping the situation either by throwing to number 84 because he's clearly a problem. But I will say this, I believe anything can happen now at this point for them because it's clearly not – something's not working, right? I mean, look at all the weapons, and the defense was playing well for Tampa, and now all of a sudden they're not playing well. There's a problem there somewhere, and I don't know how they fix it. Maybe stop giving the ball to Antonio Brown, but even when he's spreading it around, there's no blocking. That he's getting crunched a couple of times, and then he's just dancing around the pocket. Like in the latest game, he's just throwing the ball to nobody. I don't know. So it's not working. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to go there necessarily, but I definitely think that it's going to be, I don't know. I think one of those guys could be on the move, whether it's Brady or Arians.
Yeah, I agree. Something's going to have to give because they're not going to win a Super Bowl. They're going to finish record-wise. Like on paper, it's going to look like kind of what we thought, like 11-5, 10-6. I mean, their 4 remaining games are Vikings, Falcons, Lions, Falcons. They should go 3-1 and be 10-6 in that stretch. Either they kind of like play terribly and drop a game to the Lions, or maybe the Falcons. If their seeding's wrapped up and they don't play anybody in week 17, know, they could lose that game. That happens. But they don't have it right. They don't have the it thing.
No.
It's like we've said with a lot of teams that, all the time, you look at a team and say, hey, they still have something's not right. It's not often that team turns around and then goes and wins a Super Bowl. Yeah. Now the Patriots did it a couple of years ago, but that was like a total aberration, right? And that's because you have Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Bruce Arians is not going to take a team that doesn't have the it thing and turn around and get them to win a Super Bowl.
Not only do they not have the it thing in terms of their play, they're also still super undisciplined. They have so many stupid flags.
Yeah, they're going to have to beat the Chiefs, who just blew them out.
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing I was going to say. There's no way they beat the Chiefs unless they drastically improve. They're not beating KC. No way. Yeah, and even Pittsburgh, they probably won't beat.
Yeah, Colin in the comment section brings up a great point. Dish out extra cash for McDaniels, who probably wouldn't mind leaving New England now.
Good one.
That's a good one. If Arians goes, if they let him go at the end of this year, yes.
However, I want Josh to go to Chargers. That's where my preferred.
Oh yeah, him and Herbert.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be.
And get Lynn out of there and send Josh there, and then Tom can just do whatever he wants in Tampa Bay. But
yeah, Tom doesn't want to be coached anymore. Yeah. Although maybe, hey, I wonder if this is the thing, and we'll get back to the picks in a second. I wonder if Tom's mind has changed at all about the type of coaching he wants or thought he needed.
Yeah. I mean, look, at this point, yeah, it would. I mean, Josh is a good one, though. I mean, I don't think that would happen just based on would the Patriots let him go down there and do
They
that?
don't have to
Would they?
if Josh wants out, the
That's
Patriots don't
true.
have control over that.
Yeah, that's true. Unless they, just pay him out the nose like when he was going to Indy. But I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. Would Brady want to do that though? I'm not even convinced he would want Josh down there. So
I don't think he'd have a problem with Brady has never had a problem with the offense from McDaniels. Yeah. Now, him as a head coach would be different. We don't know what that would look like. So anyway, we'll have more time to pick apart the Bucks' future. New Orleans, Atlanta. We both picked New Orleans. Let's move along.
Detroit at Chicago.
Ew, yuck. Detroit.
Yeah.
Picking the quarterback. Sorry.
Oh man,
the Bears let me down big time last week. I thought they were going to come out and, hey, Trubisky sucks, but that defense is going to do some things for you, and they got torched by Aaron Rodgers.
The Bears started out 5-1, and now they're 5-6.
Fraud.
Yeah. I'm going to take Chicago. Although, wait, when did Patricia get fired? Did he get fired after this latest game or before?
After, because they played Thanksgiving.
Okay, Detroit will win this week then. All right, I'll go Detroit.
Okay. Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
And Matty P is going to go be the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Watch.
That would be brutal.
Cleveland at Tennessee. Actually, not a bad game. This is a big week for Cleveland, though.
Yeah, this is the are we big boys now game for Cleveland. They kind of got through a couple of trap games.
Tennessee's a -4 in this game, so
this is at Tennessee, right?
At Tennessee, yeah.
I'm gonna pick the Titans. I don't. Tell you what, I'll believe in the Browns if they win this game. This is the game. This is the show it to me game for the Browns. If you're legitimate, you compete in this game. If you're for real, you win this game. I don't believe any of those things about the Browns yet, so I'll reserve calling them as such, and I'm not gonna pick them to win yet. So Tennessee.
I'm gonna go Browns. I want to see what at the same time as the Browns see what they have. I want to see what Tennessee's defense has, because I don't believe in the defense yet. I think their offense is formidable, but the defense has not been super impressive.
You need the Browns to win this game so that they can be legitimate, so they can beat the Steelers in Week 17. That's perfect, what this is. Exactly. It's the long game.
Hey,
all
that's
right,
how you do it.
Next,
Cincy at Miami.
This one's easy. Miami. I don't care who's at quarterback for the Dolphins. They are winning.
Yeah, Miami. No analysis needed. Jacksonville at Minnesota.
Puke. Big win for Minnesota last week. I mean, they were in a shootout with Carolina. Didn't see that coming. And that game, like the last 5 minutes of that game were wild.
Yeah.
I gotta go Minnesota. I mean, Jacksonville competitive last week, but that was at home. I'm just gonna go lean Minnesota. This is the type of game. This is the exact type of game. This was the Vegas game last week. I'm gonna pick Minnesota. Minnesota should win, but they're the type of kind of mediocre team that we're gonna look up and see the halftime score, and it's like 25-3 Jacksonville, and it's like what the heck? But gotta go Minnesota. I know you can't. No rational person could take Jacksonville right now.
All right. With that being said, I'm going to take Minnesota. I would agree that no rational person, and I'm a very rational person. So. Then we go Vegas at the Jets.
I might let you pick
going Vegas because I just can't pick the Jets because I really think Adam Gase is just. I believe ownership has told him we are going to fire you, but your job this year is to go 0-16.
Gase gets fired tomorrow because they are going to beat.
Oh my God, we're doing this
the
again.
Las Vegas Raiders.
I mean, you might as well just go for broke because you're so far behind at this point.
This is the one. Vegas did what the egg they laid last week. Now, you'd think they're going to come out here and lay the wood against the Jets.
At least Atlanta has some weapons, though. Who the hell do the Jets have? Who's their quarterback this week? Do we even know? Flacco, is it?
What are the Jets? Who do the Jets have left on their schedule? They got the Raiders, Seahawks, Rams, Browns, Patriots. If there's any hope for the Jets to win one game, this is going to be the one.
Or the Patriots. They could beat the Patriots.
No, not the Patriots. The Patriots are clearly trying to win every game. There's no way.
Oh yeah.
If the Patriots are locked in and trying to win, now if they're out of it and they just decide to throw out Jared Stidham in Week 17, then sure. But I just got a feeling upset pick of the week. New York Jets.
All right. On that note, let's move on to Indy at Houston.
Houston looked good on Thanksgiving. Indy looked like a sieve against the Titans.
I'm going to go with Houston. I think Deshaun Watson is playing unreal the last few weeks. For whatever reason, I'm going to go Houston. Why not?
Indy needs this bad to try and stay in it. Because if the Titans win today and the Colts lose, they're going to start to slip. They'll slip back to the pack, really.
Yeah.
This is tough. Yeah, I'm going to go with you because you're right about Deshaun Watson, the way he's been. Hey, you play the Patriots defense and gets you going. Yeah, I'm going to pick Houston just because they're, again, two kind of really even teams from what I think they both put on the field, and Watson is far and away the better quarterback in the matchup right now. So, same Houston.
Then we're going Scams at the Cardinals.
This could be your game of the week.
Cardinals coming off a bad loss, though. Oof.
Same for the Rams. I mean, they lost by a field goal to the Niners.
Yeah,
the Rams, they started out with a good record. It was like, hey, have they turned the corner? Are they going to, they're a well-coached team. They're not going to have this, we lose a Super Bowl and completely fall apart. It seemed like they were starting to rebuild that team. But then you look at the record, and it's 7-4. Don't you think that'd be better than that? Yeah. Again, this kind of comes down to this is the game. These are the games that come down to coach and quarterback. And do you like McVay and Goff, or do you like Kingsbury and Murray? Murray's the better quarterback. McVay's the better coach. So, in Arizona, Cardinals. That's 2 losses in a row for them, right? Yeah, because they lost that Seahawks game, and then. So, you know what? I'm going to go Cardinals. Get off the snide.
I don't like either of these picks this week, I'll be honest. I'll go Cardinals as well. They're back home. They need this win. I'll take them in a tough spot here. Then we go New York Giants at the Seahawks.
The division-leading New York Football Giants. Chaos. Seahawks. Easy. The Giants got no shot in this game. But, I'd be rooting against the Giants either way. Whoever is leading that division, I want them to lose each week. So,
does anybody still like the N'Keal Harry pick over DK Metcalf, by the way? Is that still looking...
Christian, you got to look at Metcalf's 3-cone drill, though. I mean, clearly the guy wouldn't fit in the Patriots offense. Who needs a guy like that?
Great point. You make a great point, yeah. At least N'Keal can block, though. That's the good thing, right? And not get called for a penalty. Wonderful. Seahawks. I can't pick the Giants in good faith. I don't know. They're probably going to win that division. Good for you, Joe Judge. You get that nice 6-10 team, and you win your division. What a guy!
I'm openly rooting though for ties, more ties, so they're going to lose. Giants will probably lose to the Seahawks, the Cardinals. Oh, they play the Browns, the Ravens, the Cowboys. I mean, that's a tough. I mean, the Giants could easily lose their last 5 games.
Yeah.
A 5-win team is probably going to a 5 or 6-win team. Let's look at Washington, Steelers, Niners, Seahawks, Panthers, Eagles, Eagles, we know they're 3-7. They've got Packers, Saints, Cardinals, Cowboys, Washington. So the Eagles could probably pick up two games, but then that's only 5 wins. A 5 or 6 win team is going to win the NFC East and have a home playoff game.
That's criminal that they're going to have a home playoff game. Not that it really matters right now anyway, but still.
Yeah. So anyway, next.
Philadelphia, another abomination against Green Bay.
It's Green Bay.
Yeah. At Lambeau, no way.
Green Bay is we've said it. They're 8-3. I feel like their losses are really bad. They beat up on bad teams. The Eagles, again, another one of those backdoor covers. They score a Hail Mary touchdown to cover the spread last week, which you'd love to be a fly on the wall at like a sports book. People go, tearing their hair out. Eagles, no shot. So Packers will win this game. It'll change nothing about what I think they're going to do this season.
Agreed. Yep. Look, the Packers are the same team every year, 12-4, and they lose in the playoffs.
Yep.
Then we got New England. We'll skip for now. Denver at Kansas City. Kansas City.
No further analysis. Let's just do this, Christian. Will Patrick Mahomes throw for 300 yards in the first quarter again?
If I was a betting man, I would say yeah. Why not? Look, Denver's defense is not that bad. Kansas City is just far and away, again, they're the best team. So
they will cover Tyreek Hill. I'll guarantee you that, at least.
I would hope so. Let's not be the Bucs and pretend like he's not even on the field. So then we'll go Washington at Pittsburgh. When
is that game?
Monday night.
Okay, that's what I thought.
5 p.m.
So is the Denver KC game the Sunday night game?
Yes, it is.
Ugh.
Yeah, not great. This is what we're left with. And then, again, Monday night, doubleheader here. The second game is Buffalo at San Fran.
Big game for Buffalo. San
Francisco playing?
San Fran, it's in Arizona.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
San Fran plays hard. Again, this is a show it to me game for Buffalo. San Fran plays hard. If you're the Bills and you want to win the division and say we're now the Kings of the East, you're gonna win this game. And I got a feeling they just aren't there yet. I'm gonna pick San Fran.
Buffalo.
Got a feeling. Got a feeling about that game too.
Buffalo is going to win that division, and they're going to do it again against San Fran. Then Tuesday night, 8:05, Dallas at Baltimore. And I don't even know who's playing in this game, so I have no idea who to pick.
Yeah, we won't know probably until the day before.
Yeah.
Oh man. What's the spread? Do they have a spread on that game right now?
Let's see. Do they? Yeah, ESPN has it Baltimore -8.5.
So they think that. So odds are then that Lamar Jackson plays.
That's the way
has
it
to
looks.
be.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. That being the case, I'm gonna pick Baltimore.
Yeah, I can't pick. Yeah, I can't pick Dallas. I gotta go. Same thing.
All right. So we'll circle back. New England Patriots at the Los Angeles Chargers. Nothing's really changed for the Pats. They have to win out. They need to win out. If they could afford to lose a game, it's next week against the Rams.
Yep.
I don't know. The defense played better last week, which was encouraging. You take the wins now, however you can get them. They're going to keep rolling Cam Newton out. There's no point in really arguing it or debating it. They're going to roll Cam Newton out as long as they're mathematically alive for the playoffs.
Right.
That's just the facts right now.
Unless he goes down.
Unless he gets hurt. They're going to try and win games by running the ball, playing defense, and not turning it over. Now, if the defense can do what they did last week, rookie quarterback, Bill's going to have some tricks for him. Tell you what, I'm picking the Patriots to win this game. It ain't gonna be pretty. It ain't gonna look good. But it's tough to pick rookie quarterbacks against Belichick, no matter what year, no matter what defense he's got. And we've both kind of soured here of late on Anthony Lynn. I like him. I thought he was a good coach. He's kind of been proving to me the last couple of weeks that's not
wait. Don't lump me in with you. I never said he was a good coach. I was sour on him.
No, I'm saying okay, fair. We have both thought that he was a good coach at different points in time. I held out a little longer than you did. I think they probably lose today and he gets canned. So I'm picking the Patriots. Again, anything can happen. This Patriots team is wildly unpredictable. As long as Cam doesn't throw multiple interceptions,
do you believe he will not do that, though? I don't know at this point.
I believe they might not even give him the chance. I think they're just going to run the ball, all over the place. Don't count out like a defensive touchdown today. Pick six from like McCourty, that sort of thing. Jumping Herbert. So that's the Patriots. I really don't want to get too much into what they're going to do until they need to win this game, maybe beat the Rams, and say, hey, wow, they now actually maybe can control their destiny. Right now, they don't control anything, and they got to go out there and just gut out and win any way possible. So that's kind of my take. Great to win last week, but it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, I mean, I am going to pick the Chargers, but I'll say the coaching could come into play here hugely today, and I would not be shocked if the Patriots win this game. But this is just the week, right? We come off a week of the Patriots didn't scheme it up. They did nothing to get in Deshaun Watson's way, and he just annihilated them. And they get blown out. Then they come back last week against Kyler Murray, and they scheme something up and get after him a little bit. And he wasn't able to use his legs as much, and the Patriots looked like they were kind of like a new team up front for whatever reason. Their front seven looked a lot better. And now I think they're just going to go backwards again, just based on their patterns here this whole season. And they want to play 1 week, they scheme it up, and then the next week they fall back. With the rookie quarterback, it might be different, but I don't want to pick the Patriots because I feel like they're going to just get annihilated for some reason, whether it's they're not doing something on defense. And let's be real, I don't know. I'm like one quarter away from being like, just put in Stidham. Like, he can do exactly what Newton's giving you right now, which is pretty much nothing. I mean, the offense is inept. Like, you can't keep throwing for 90 yards and expect to win ball games. You just can't.
Yeah, I agree.
But I like Newton. I like everything that he's come in here and done. He's good on the field. He's been okay on the field, not great, below average. And he's been great off the field and in the locker room. So I like everything that he's brought. It's just like the on the field is just, it's tough to watch. And like, you're what, bottom 5 in the league in passing? Like, you can't win games like that.
Yeah. So we'll see. This is actually a question from Pete and Gansett. This was way back. I forgot to get to this. Still 5 weeks to go, but who do you guys pick? Who are you guys expecting to be Rookie of the Year? You're going to see him today. Justin Herbert. Far and away. There's some other guys, but I think Herbert has been absolutely phenomenal. Did not expect it. Didn't expect him to come out and be this good right away. The kid looks like he's 13 years old, but he can spin it, as they say. So you're going to watch it live today. Might not look like Rookie of the Year. Bill usually always has something up his sleeve for rookie quarterbacks or quarterbacks who face him for the first time. But he will win Rookie of the Year. I don't think there's anything he could do now that would kind of take him out of that slot.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no doubt the kid can play, and he came in right away, and he proved that. So you get some coaching in there, I think you're onto something because their roster is pretty good.
Yeah, so that'll do it for us here today on the 360 Sports Show. We are live every single Sunday at 11 a.m. Tune in live by subscribing, following, liking, all those things on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. You can look for us by searching for the 360 Sports Show or at 360 Sports Show. We also put out the show as a podcast, so if you can't catch us live and don't feel like sitting and rewatching the show, take it on the go. Just search for the 360 Sports Show on Sounder FM or wherever you get your podcast. So that'll do it for us, folks. Thanks for tuning in and listening. Christian, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Go Revs!
Yeah, go Revs. See you later.